Starting tomorrow, I'll look everyone in the eye. Starting tomorrow, I'll listen when people speak to me. Starting tomorrow, I'll be better.
Starting tomorrow, not today, not now, tomorrow. Because today, Shouya Ishida still can't face the world. Today he still sees X marks over every face he encounters, visual reminders that he has shut himself off from humanity. Today he still believes he doesn't deserve to look anyone in the eye, but tomorrow he'll try. This promises the culmination of years of guilt, isolation, and self-hatred. It's the moment when someone who wanted to die decides, against every instinct, to try living again. Shouya Ishida was a bully. He systematically tormented a deaf girl until she had to leave school. He destroyed her hearing aids, 8 of them, and never thought twice about it. And when he realized what he'd done, when he understood the depth of pain he'd caused, he tried to kill himself, but he failed. And in failing to die, he was forced to confront something far more terrifying than death, the possibility of living with what he'd done. This is the philosophy of Shouya Ishida from a silent voice, a story about guilt that feels unforgivable, redemption that seems impossible, and the courage it takes to face the people you've hurt. Before Shouya became broken and isolated, he was just a kid looking for excitement. He wasn't born cruel, he was born bored. The kind of kid who jumped off bridges to feel alive, who picked fights for the thrill, who did reckless things because anything was better than monotony. And then Shouko Nishimiya transferred into his 6th grade class. Shouko was deaf. She communicated through a notebook, struggled to read lips, and spoke with difficulty because she couldn't hear herself. To most of the class, she was an inconvenience, but to Shouya, she was entertainment. What started as teasing escalated into something darker. He threw her notebook out windows, mocked how she spoke, and then it got physical. He started stealing her hearing aids, expensive medical devices her mother worked hard to afford. He'd rip them out of her ears, sometimes causing her to bleed, and destroy them. 8 hearing aids. Gone. And Shouko? She kept coming to school, kept trying to be friendly, kept writing "I'm sorry" and "let's be friends" in her notebook. She apologized for existing, and Shouya felt nothing. His friends laughed with him. The teacher did nothing to stop it until consequences came. When Shuko's mother discovered what was happening, she came to school with 8 damaged hearing aids as evidence. She demanded accountability. And suddenly, Shouya wasn't the class clown anymore. He was the villain. The teacher who had done nothing for months turned on him. His classmates, who had laughed along, suddenly acted innocent. They blamed him. They isolated him. Shouya became what Shouko had been, the outcast. His former friends bullied him the same way he'd bullied her. And for the first time, Shouya understood what he'd done. Not intellectually, but viscerally. He felt the isolation, the helplessness, the crushing weight of being hated by everyone. Shouko transferred schools, and Shouya was left alone with his guilt. Here's the question at the heart of a silent voice. What do you do when you can't undo what you've done? You can't unbully someone. You can't erase years of trauma. You can't restore someone's sense of safety. You can't undo hearing loss that might have been worsened by your violence. The damage is done. Permanent. Irreversible. This is what philosophers call moral residue. The guilt that remains even after you've tried to make amends. The understanding that some actions have consequences that can never be fully repaired. And for Shouya, this moral residue was suffocating. After Shouko left, Shouya spent years in isolation. He started seeing X marks over everyone's faces, blue X's that covered their features, turning every person into a faceless stranger. These X marks represent Shouya's self-imposed prison. By putting X marks over faces, Shouya was saying, I don't deserve to see you. I don't deserve to connect with you. I don't deserve to be part of humanity. It's self-punishment. Every person he sees reminds him that he's not like them. He's worse. He's the kind of person who destroys lives for entertainment. The X marks maintain distance not because he doesn't want connection, but because he believes he doesn't deserve it. This is the philosophy of shame, not just I did something bad, guilt, but I am bad, shame. Shame about his entire existence. Shouya saves money for years, not to buy something nice, but to pay his mother back for the burden he's caused her. And once he's settled his debts, he plans to kill himself. Because in Shouya's mind, suicide isn't escape, it's justice. But before Shouya can end his life, he decides to do one thing: find Shouko and apologize. Not because he thinks it will fix anything, not because he expects forgiveness, but because she deserves to hear it. When he finds her at the sign language center and sees her for the first time in years, something unexpected happens. She smiles at him, a genuine smile. She's willing to talk to him. She's willing to give him a chance. And for the first time in years, one of the X marks disappears. This plants a seed of doubt in Shouya's certainty that he's irredeemable. Maybe he doesn't have to die. Maybe he can try to be better. And so Shouya makes a decision. He'll try to live. He doesn't forgive himself. He doesn't stop hating who he was. But he decides that maybe living and trying to do better is more meaningful than dying. This is where the opening promise comes from. Starting tomorrow, I'll look everyone in the eye. Not because he thinks he deserves it, but because maybe the people around him want him to try. A silent voice doesn't romanticize redemption. Shouya's journey is messy and painful. He tries to reconnect with old classmates. Some reject him, others cautiously accept him but don't trust him. His attempts to help Shouko sometimes make things worse. He has panic attacks. He relapses into self-hatred. The X marks come back when he's overwhelmed. Real redemption isn't a straight line. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Progress punctuated by doubt, fear, and regression. But Shouya keeps trying. And then comes the moment that redefines everything. Shouya discovers that Shouko is planning to kill herself. She'd been apologizing to everyone, saying goodbye without anyone realizing it. When Shouya arrives at her apartment, he finds her on the balcony, ready to jump. In that moment, everything becomes clear. Shouko is suffering because of what he did to her. The bullying left lasting scars. It made her believe she's a burden. It made her think the world would be better without her. And Shouya caused that. So when Shouko steps off the balcony, Shouya doesn't hesitate. He grabs her. He pulls her back. And in doing so, he falls instead. He nearly dies trying to save the person he once tried to destroy. This scene represents something profound. Shouya values Shouko's life more than his own. For years, he believed he was worthless and she deserved to live. But faced with her potential death, he realizes something crucial. His self-hatred was selfish. By isolating himself, by planning to die, by believing he was irredeemable, he was still making it about himself, about his guilt, his pain, his narrative. But Shouko is a real person with her own struggles. Struggles that include, but aren't limited to, what Shouya did to her. If Shouya truly wants to make amends, he needs to live and help her live too. Redemption isn't about punishing yourself into non-existence. It's about staying present, facing your mistakes, and doing whatever you can to make the world better. A silent voice asks, can someone like Shouya be forgiven? The answer is both simple and complex. It's not up to him. Shouya can't forgive himself into redemption. He can't earn forgiveness through suffering. Forgiveness comes from the people he hurt, and they get to decide whether to give it. Shouko chooses to forgive him, not because what he did was okay, but because she sees him trying. She sees him genuinely attempting to be better, but other people don't forgive him, and that's okay too. Some people never fully trust him again. Some still see him as the bully he was, and Shouya has to live with that, because that's part of redemption, accepting that some bridges can't be rebuilt. What a silent voice teaches us is that guilt can be a teacher, not just a punishment. Shouya's guilt could have destroyed him, and nearly did. But ultimately, it transformed him. It made him more empathetic, more careful, more aware of how his actions affect others. He'll never stop feeling guilty. And that's actually okay. The guilt reminds him to be better. It ensures he never forgets what he's capable of when he stops seeing others as human. Shouya learns to carry his guilt without letting it crush him. Starting tomorrow, I'll look everyone in the eye. Starting tomorrow, I'll listen when people speak to me. These words aren't a promise of instant change. They're an acknowledgement that change takes time, that you start where you are, that tomorrow is soon enough. Shouya Ishida's story isn't about whether bad people can become good. It's about whether people who've done terrible things can still choose to live in a way that honors the harm they've caused. And the answer a silent voice gives is yes. But it's hard, and it never fully goes away. Shouya will always carry the weight of what he did. He'll always have moments of doubt, when the X marks threaten to return, when he wonders if he deserves the connections he's built. But he'll also have moments of genuine connection, moments where he helps someone who's struggling, moments where his presence makes someone's life a little bit better. And maybe that's enough. Maybe redemption isn't about erasing the past. Maybe it's about living in the present with full awareness of what you've done and choosing every single day to be better. Maybe it's about removing the X marks, one face at a time, and learning to see people with empathy, respect, and care. Maybe it's about accepting that you'll never fully forgive yourself, but deciding to live anyway because the people you hurt deserve your best effort. And maybe that's what courage really is. Choosing to face the world even when you believe you don't deserve to. That's the philosophy of Shouya Ishida, a boy who was a bully, tried to die and instead learned to live with unforgivable guilt. If you've ever done something you deeply regret, if you've ever felt like you don't deserve forgiveness, if you've ever wanted to hide from the world because of your shame, Shouya's story is for you, because it tells you you can't undo the past, but you can still choose how you show up tomorrow. If this resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more anime philosophy. Until next time, keep facing forward, keep trying, keep choosing tomorrow.